Robertson. Mr. Sandler.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm here today in several roles. First, as chair of the Alliance of Canadians Combating Anti-Semitism, a nonpartisan coalition of 70 community organizations, Jewish and non-Jewish. Second of all, as a trainer of police and prosecutors across the country, now including some 40 police services that have been the subject of this training, including, I might add, Senator Arnold, some of the police and prosecutors in New Brunswick. And third, as a non-policing member of the Canadian Association of Chiefs of Police Special Purpose Committee on Hate Crimes. You heard from Deputy Johnson on that, and I'm working on, together with the committee, a module for national training that would address some of the issues that you raised in your questions, as well working on some of the issues around symbols and how police can have some certainty and some direction in the new legislation if passed. And finally, I'm here most importantly as a proud Jew. I've been fighting anti-Semitism and all forms of hatred in Canada for over 40 years. If you had told me back in 1985 that 40 years later, I'd be witnessing a celebration on the streets of major Canadian cities the days after the barbarities perpetrated on October 7th, or that I would watch personally chants of Sinwar, Sinwar, we have bullets for you, promoting Yana Sinwar, the mastermind of the October 7th slaughter, I admit to you, perhaps naively, I would have been shocked. If I'd been told that some professors and teachers, not marginalized fringe actors, would deny altogether or justify the vile sexual violence perpetrated against women in Israel, or that a protester in a largely Jewish neighborhood would display a poster of a hook-nosed Jew reminiscent of the 1930s Nazi propaganda, I would have been shocked. Or if I'd been told that social media posts would demonize Jews, comparing us to subhuman vermin, openly call out for the killing of all Zionists, I would have been shocked not by the all too familiar content with which I dealt back in the 80s, but by its pervasiveness. And finally, if I had been told that Canada would face repeated terror plots targeting Jews, inspired by ISIS or white supremacist ideology, and that the RCMP would describe 6 foiled terror plots in Canada within a 6-month period, with more that followed its report, I would have been shocked by the number of extremists operating in Canada. But that's where we are. And criminal law is an important tool to address extremism in Canada, and Bill C-9, in my view, represents an enhancement to the existing tools. It has evolved, as you've heard, substantially as a result of the hearings conducted in the House. I and others collaboratively proposed amendments to the legislation, most of which were adopted. The legislation is not perfect, but I support its passage in its current form. And I also observe that 34 of ALCCA's member organizations advised the House committee that they endorse the amendments that I put forward. And as you've already heard, the legislation is already supported by the Canadian Association of Chiefs of Police. I recognize that in a 5-minute presentation, I'm unable to explain why each component of the current version of Bill C-9 is legally sound and worthy of passage. I've set out the reasons for that in my detailed written submissions, and not surprisingly, I commend them to you. But I look forward to the opportunity to answer any questions about the detail around the legislation, including suggestions of redundancy, suggestions of unconstitutionality. In my view, these are modest measures indeed in Bill C-9, and indeed, as you've heard from one of my colleagues, I put forward with the collaboration of a number of organizations, including the organizations on this panel, the suggestion that what is needed, as well as C-9, is a new offense of willful promotion of terror, because it takes away the issues about, is this directed against this group or that group? It focuses on the promotion of designated terror entities and the terror activities they're involved in, and there can be no license under our charter for the promotion of terror. It's an important deficiency that I hope Parliament will look to after the passage of C-9. Thank you so much.